What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Team Chimaev is still refusing to accept the outcome of the fight against Strickland, and the controversy surrounding the decision continues to divide the MMA world. Following the highly competitive battle, several members of Khamzat Chimaev's camp spoke out publicly, insisting they believe the judges got it wrong on the scorecards. One of the loudest reactions came from Arman Tsarukyan, who did not hold back while defending Chimaev after the loss. Tsarukyan took to social media shortly after the event and mocked the decision by claiming that Chimaev was not defeated by Strickland inside the cage, but instead submitted by the judges. The comment immediately gained traction among fans, with many supporters agreeing that Chimaev's performance deserved the victory. In another post, Tsarukyan doubled down on his stance, saying that everyone watching the fight knows what really happened during those 5 rounds. His comments made it clear that Team Chimaev believes the damage and impact of the fight favored Khamzat, regardless of the official result. The matchup itself has become one of the most debated fights in recent memory. Strickland found success throughout the contest with his trademark pressure, constant jab, and high striking volume. Round after round, Strickland stayed active and controlled long portions of the fight with his pace and output. However, many fans, fighters, and analysts pointed toward Chimaev landing the more explosive and damaging shots, especially during the biggest exchanges of the fight. That difference in scoring criteria is exactly why the MMA community remains split. Some believe Strickland's consistency and activity were enough to secure the win, while others argue that Chimaev's power shots and overall damage should have carried more weight with the judges. Regardless of where people stand, one thing is clear: Team Chimaev feels robbed, and they are not planning to stay silent about it anytime soon. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all our latest content. Moving on to another news. Michael Bisping has now shared his thoughts on the controversial decision between Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev, and while he understands why many fans are calling it a robbery, he still believes the judges made the correct call in the end. Speaking about the fight, Bisping admitted that Strickland may have outlanded Chimaev statistically, but he emphasized that not all strikes carry the same impact. According to Bisping, Chimaev's punches were clearly the more damaging shots throughout the contest. He pointed out that while Strickland maintained his usual pressure and high-volume striking style, Khamzat's power punches visibly affected the champion far more than the jabs and lighter combinations coming back his way. Bisping also praised Chimaev's toughness and determination during the later rounds of the fight. Early on, the former middleweight champion believed the momentum was shifting heavily towards Strickland and expected Chimaev to slowly fade as the fight progressed. However, Bisping admitted he was wrong. Instead of mentally breaking under pressure, Chimaev dug deep and continued fighting hard all the way to the final bell. Something Bisping said impressed him great. At the same time, Bisping still gave credit to Strickland for doing enough to retain the victory. He referenced the striking numbers, noting that Strickland landed significantly more total shots over the course of the fight. While Chimaev secured several takedowns and landed the more explosive punches, Bisping believes Strickland's activity, pace, and consistency across 5 rounds ultimately earned him the decision. In his view, damage matters, but overall output and control of the fight also play a major role in scoring. Bisping also mentioned the respect shown after the fight, highlighting how emotions cooled once the battle ended. Despite the intense build-up and trash talk leading into the event, both fighters showed sportsmanship afterward. Chimaev even wrapped the championship belt around Strickland following the decision, a moment many fans saw as a classy display of mutual respect after one of the most competitive fights of the year. Moving on to another news. Brady is not backing down from criticism surrounding his loss to Michael Morales, and has now made it clear that he believes the defeat was nothing more than a fluke. Fresh off his dominant performance against Joaquin Buckley, Brady addressed the loss directly and insisted that fans misunderstood what really happened that night. According to Brady, the version of himself that stepped into the cage against Morales was far from the best version of the fighter people are seeing now. While he chose not to reveal specific details, Brady hinted that he was dealing with several personal and mental challenges behind the scenes leading into the fight. He explained that those issues affected his preparation, mindset, and overall performance inside the octagon. Because of that, Brady believes the outcome did not accurately reflect the true gap in skill between him and Morales. Brady confidently stated that if the two fighters meet again under different circumstances, the result would look completely different. He described the loss as one of those moments in MMA where a fighter simply gets caught, something he says can happen to anyone in the sport, regardless of talent or ranking. In his eyes, says the performance against Buckley was a much more accurate representation of his actual abilities as a welterweight contender. The American fighter also emphasized how mentally focused he felt during the Buckley fight compared to previous performances. Brady claimed he was fully locked in from start to finish, completely present during every exchange, and fighting with total confidence. That level of focus, he believes, allows him to compete with the very best fighters in the division. Meanwhile, the welterweight title picture continues to become more complicated with every major event. Analysts and fans are debating who deserves the next shot at the belt, while several contenders continue building momentum at the same time. MMA analyst Luke Thomas even suggested that Carlos Prates may have positioned himself into a major opportunity with his recent performances, adding even more uncertainty to an already crowded division. Moving on to another news. Luke Thomas believes Carlos Prates has dramatically changed the welterweight title picture following his devastating victory over Jack Della Maddalena. While many still expect Ian Machado Gary to receive the next championship opportunity, Thomas says Prates has forced the entire division to take him seriously as a legitimate title contender. Breaking down Prates' recent run, Thomas highlighted just how dangerous the Brazilian striker has become. He pointed out that Prates stopped former champion Leon Edwards in the second round before following that performance with another brutal stoppage victory over Della Maddalena in the third round. According to Thomas, knocking out two elite-level fighters in back-to-back fights is incredibly rare, especially against opponents known for their durability and technical striking. Thomas sounded genuinely shocked while discussing the performances, repeatedly emphasizing how impressive Prates' finishing ability has become. He noted that very few fighters have even been able to survive until the final bell against him recently. In his opinion, only opponents with elite defensive movement and a highly disciplined game plan have any chance of lasting against Prates for a full fight. The analyst also explained that standing and trading punches with Prates appears to be a losing strategy for almost everyone in the division, no matter how confident an opponent may feel in their striking. Thomas believes engaging in a pure stand-up battle with Prates is extremely risky because of the overwhelming power and pressure he brings into every exchange. His ability to break opponents down over time has become one of the biggest talking points in the welterweight division. Thomas further pointed out that at 32 years old, Prates is likely entering the absolute peak of his career. Physically strong, mentally confident, and carrying serious knockout power, he appears to be hitting his prime at exactly the right moment. Because of that, Thomas believes the UFC rankings may soon need a major recalibration, as Prates has proven he belongs much closer to the top of the division than many previously expect. Moving on to another news. Khamzat Chimaev may still be calling for a rematch with Strickland, but according to a major new report, the UFC could already have completely different plans for his future. After weeks of speculation surrounding Chimaev's next move, a surprising update has now suggested that the promotion is preparing to move him permanently to the light heavyweight division. The latest information came from Oscar Willis during an appearance on Submission Radio. Willis claimed that the UFC is currently planning a massive matchup between Chimaev and Paulo Costa for the interim light heavyweight championship, while Carlos Ulberg remains inactive as the undisputed champion at 205 pounds. The potential fight immediately grabbed attention because of the long history of tension between Chimaev and Costa. The rivalry dates back years, including their infamous confrontation at the UFC Performance Institute that nearly turned physical. Ever since that incident, fans have wanted to see the two settle their issues inside the octagon, and now the UFC may finally be ready to make it happen on one of the biggest stages possible. Willis also suggested that Costa's recent appearance around UFC events may not have been a coincidence, fueling speculation that the promotion is already quietly building toward the matchup behind the scenes. If the fight becomes official, it would represent one of the biggest opportunities of Costa's career and a huge gamble for Chimaev as he moves into a new weight class. During the discussion, analysts also broke down how Costa could match up against Chimaev stylistically. Some believe Costa would gain confidence from watching Strickland survive Chimaev's wrestling and push him into deep waters cardio-wise. Critics pointed out that Chimaev appeared to slow down significantly after the early rounds in his recent fights, something a durable and pressure-heavy fighter like Costa could potentially take advantage of. If the UFC officially books the fight, it would instantly become one of the most talked-about matchups in the sport, combining real bad blood, massive stakes, and major questions about Chimaev's future at light heavyweight. Moving on to another news. Prochazka has unexpectedly sparked tension with rising Brazilian star John Silva after publicly criticizing Silva's behavior during his recent victory over Arnold Allen. While Silva's dominant performance earned praise from many fans, Prochazka focused on one particular moment during the fight that he believed crossed the line. Following the event, Prochazka reacted to footage of Silva jumping onto Allen's back during the fight in a showboating moment that quickly went viral online. The former light heavyweight champion clearly did not approve of the celebration, calling it disrespectful disrespectful and unnecessary inside the cage. Known for his disciplined warrior code mentality, Prochazka believes fighters should carry themselves with honor and respect, no matter how emotional or exciting a fight becomes. Speaking about the incident, Prochazka said fighters should spend more time focusing on their performance rather than doing stupid things during a fight. He explained that combat sports are built on respect and discipline, and he feels excessive taunting or humiliating an opponent takes away from the true spirit of martial arts. According to Prochazka, if a fighter wants to prove superiority, they should simply finish the fight convincingly instead of adding unnecessary theatrics. The comments immediately caught attention across the MMA community because the criticism came completely out of nowhere. Silva has built a reputation as a flashy and emotional fighter who thrives on entertaining fans, while Prochazka has always represented a more traditional martial arts philosophy centered around humility and respect. The contrast between the two personalities has now created an unexpected rivalry that few fans saw coming. The timing is also interesting for both fighters. Prochazka is currently trying to rebuild momentum after suffering a disappointing loss to Carlos Ulberg, leaving questions about his future in the light heavyweight division. Meanwhile, Silva's stock continues to rise rapidly after his victory over Allen, with many fans now viewing him as a serious contender at featherweight. Although many believe Movsar Evloev deserves the next featherweight title shot, Silva's exciting style and outspoken personality may make him a more attractive option for the UFC moving forward. Moving on to another news. Gaethje recently shared his thoughts on the heated moment involving Ilia Topuria during the press conference for the UFC's upcoming White House event, and his reaction has sparked even more discussion around Topuria's mindset heading into the fight. During the chaotic media event, tensions escalated when Topuria appeared visibly furious during an exchange involving another fighter reportedly much larger than him. The situation quickly gained attention online as fans debated whether Topuria's aggressive reaction showed confidence and passion or a lack of emotional control under pressure. At one point, it even looked as if Topuria was prepared to physically confront the individual on stage despite the significant size difference between them. Now, Gaethje has weighed in on the incident, and interestingly, he admitted that seeing Topuria become emotional may actually reveal something important about his mentality before the fight. In comments shared by Gaethje's camp, the former interim lightweight champion explained that while emotions are natural in combat sports, fighters must be careful not to let opponents or outside situations control their mindset. Gaethje pointed out that he understands why Topuria reacted the way he did, especially if the confrontation involved defending friends or teammates. According to Gath, loyalty and emotion are common in high-pressure environments like the UFC, and even he admits he can become emotional in certain situations. However, he stressed that allowing another person to dictate your emotional state can become dangerous for a fighter mentally, particularly before a major bout. The veteran striker suggested that emotional reactions can sometimes reveal frustration, vulnerability, or mental distraction heading into a fight. In his view, elite fighters must remain calm and composed regardless of what happens during interviews, face-offs, or press conferences. Staying emotionally balanced is often just as important as physical preparation at the highest level of MMA competition. The comments from Gaethje have now added another layer of intrigue surrounding Ilia Topuria and his upcoming fight. While some fans see Topuria's fiery personality as a sign of confidence and passion, others believe Gaethje may have identified a potential weakness opponents could try to exploit moving forward. Moving on to another news. Joshua Van may not have an official date set yet for his expected rematch with Alexandre Pantoja, but the tension between the two fighters is already beginning to grow into a genuine rivalry. Following recent comments made during an interview, fans are now even more interested in seeing the two flyweights meet again inside the octagon. While speaking with Ariel Helwani, Van reacted to the injury situation involving Pantoja and made a comment that quickly caught attention across the MMA community. Referring to Pantoja's dislocated elbow, Van suggested that the injury may have been avoidable if the veteran champion had fallen correctly during the exchange. Van explained that when he first began training, one of the earliest lessons taught in the gym was how to fall safely and avoid posting your hand in dangerous positions. Van even pointed out that Pantoja is a black belt and should already understand proper defensive reactions in those situations. Although the remark was not overly aggressive, many fans viewed it as a subtle shot at the former champion, adding more heat to a rivalry that already had plenty of competitive tension attached to it. to it. The timing of the comments has only increased anticipation for the rematch. After successfully defending the flyweight title, Van's profile continues to rise rapidly, and a second fight with Pantoja now feels even bigger than before. Many fans believe the unfinished business between the two makes it one of the most compelling matchups the UFC can book in the division. Van also spoke emotionally about his recent stoppage victory over Tatsuro Taira at UFC 3328 and revealed why he was unable to sleep after the event. According to Van, the support from his community meant everything to him. He explained that many Burmese fans stayed with him throughout the night, praying and celebrating the victory before finally leaving early in the morning. After traveling home, members of his church also gathered to pray for him and congratulate him on the win. The emotional response highlighted just how important the moment was for Van, whose popularity continues to grow both inside and outside the cage as he establishes himself as one of the UFC's fastest rising champions.